Georgina emailed. She said, last year, this is a big one, so buckle up. Last year at Thanksgiving, my vegetarian sister-in-law overheard me telling my 8-year-old son that 2 trips to the veggie tray was sufficient until after he had some turkey. She immediately jumped in to question why I would discourage a child from eating vegetables. When I told her he needed to eat protein as well as veggies, she said he would get plenty of protein from the broccoli. I laughed in her face, something I love doing. Oh, Georgina.
I like all the details in this one. This is good.
This is good. Write lots of details in your emails
yes,
so we get to laugh more. Before asking just how much protein she thought a young boy should eat. She never answered the question directly, but insisted that we've, quote, been sold nonsense by big food that's putting protein in everything so they can convince you it's healthier, unquote. She swore she'd seen studies showing that we only need a little bit of protein to stay healthy and build muscle, amounts she felt certain could be reached with beans, peas, and the occasional egg. Knowing my sister-in-law, she's probably got this from a YouTube influencer, so I'm asking another YouTuber. Oh, thank you. How much protein do we really need? Any research or studies you've got would be appreciated. I plan to print them out and bring them next year.
We got you.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Wow.
All right.
Of course this would happen at Thanksgiving.
Look, that makes sense. You bring families together. There's lots of food. Hey, points for the kid that's eating lots of veggies. That's very cool.
I would say at least she cares about your child. You know,
I'm sure that's the point she's coming from, right?
Yes.
I'm sure it's all. I'm sure it's all about.
It's all
care.
love.
Yeah,
it's not. There's nothing.
We'll give her the benefit of a doubt.
Yeah. All right. So, how much protein should an 8-year-old boy be eating, and can you get it sufficiently from beans, peas, and the occasional egg?
The short answer is somebody of this age would need only about 20 grams of protein per day.
Okay.
As the RDI, so the recommended dietary intake. This is the base level for supporting growth, tissue repair, just, surviving essentially.
Sure.
So obviously we would recommend a good bit more of that. But again, I think that just sets the stage that in a 4 through 8-year-old, we'll say they don't necessarily need to be super worried about this, like somebody who's bodybuilding and, cutting weight.
Yes.
And that sort of, because we don't want to create a generation of protein weighers like ourselves. You know what I mean? So
I think there's worse things we could do.
I was just going to say, it could be a lot worse.
Yeah. So when you think about what 20 to 30 grams of protein really is, in real life, it's about a 3-ounce serving of turkey. So it's a fist size amount of turkey. It's not a whole lot. I think most 8-year-olds can finish that at a dinner, or if you think about splitting that twice a day.
If you add an egg in the morning and then some turkey.
Right. So it's not a whole lot. Kind of at the end of the day, as far as giving like a recommendation beyond that, I just don't know if you can kind of extrapolate what you would recommend an adult, the whole 1 gram per pound body weight, etc. Is there a perfect number? I don't know what you kind of came up with.
Around where you did, I saw, and of course, 8-year-old is the cutoff.
Right.
So I saw between 4 and 8 years old, 19 grams, and then from 9 to 13, 34. That's a pretty big jump. So Dante kind of settled on 20. And I would say that, makes a lot of sense in terms of, 20 to 25. Because for an adult from the same standard RDA is 0.8 grams. So
I know for a fact that in a couple of years, and you know this too, you won't be holding that child back from eating anything.
Oh my goodness.
A 10, 12, 14-year-old boy is going to eat all of the things, turkey, vegetables, all the stuff. All of my kids grew out of their food resistance. The thing where they're like, I don't want to eat that. They all grew out of it when they hit puberty and they just couldn't stop eating. And they would just, it doesn't matter. I'm going to eat that too.
My grocery bills are through the roof.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I thought the one thing that was interesting was the comment that I'd like to talk about Sold nonsense by big food that's putting protein in everything so they can convince you it's healthier.
Yes. Yeah. Well, look, I love protein potato chips. I think that's the healthiest thing ever, right? No, that's not what I mean. Personally, because I am trying to eat a lot of protein, I do like that it's added to a lot of things, but I also understand that just because you put protein in potato chips does not make them healthy.
Yeah, and I think it's almost like a little bit of like analogous to the fat-free craze of like, oh, let's stamp fat-free on Sour Patch Kids labels. You know, like it's not analogous to that. It's not. They're putting protein in. I mean, on the better end of the scale, Dante probably has way more examples, but like oatmeal, adding protein to oatmeal, an already healthy food, I think that's a great thing. Adding protein to potato chips, not as great, but as long as you're understanding that the core of what you're eating is oatmeal versus potato chips,
right,
then the rest can become details. So I think that, is there an element where marketing is aggressively adding some protein to maybe some things that aren't healthy? Is there some truth to that comment? I'd say so. But is there a lot of benefit to that push? I think there is. I think there definitely is.
Yeah. The thing that I do find interesting about that, because I'm their biggest customer.
Yeah.
You know,
me too.
I mean,
so I kept looking at you.
Admittedly, it's like, oh man, they added 20 grams of protein to this pint of ice cream. You know, it gets me every time.
Yeah.
You know, but in general, if you look at the modern, if you look at the modern American diet, it's really not that. You know, the average person is not eating enough protein, because really we eat, I'm a little maybe off the evidence base here, but we eat as much red meat and consume as much meat in general as any other country, I would say, for the most part. So even if you're just looking at it from a macronutrient perspective, sure, you know, we probably eat a little too much saturated fat. We're probably eating too much added sugar, all the things. But I don't really think that there's a general lack of protein, really. It's where do we see that come up as an issue? It's underserved populations. It's food deserts. It's where there's like a real true nutritional need. It's very unlikely that, you know, someone who's in this environment who's maybe overeating, they're eating at a caloric surplus, there's a mismatch between their appetite and what they're eating. If they're in that boat, I really, really, really do not believe it's because they're not eating enough protein. So it is just funny to see that there is a push of putting protein in everything, but it's really just to appease those who are, it makes you feel fitness focused or health centric. You know, it just caters to that, to that way of thinking.
Yeah. The child aspect is interesting because even just knowing from, you know, the day-to-day routine of young kids, it can easily turn into, I mean, I try to do better versions of this, you know, better forms of bread, et cetera, but it can easily turn into toast in the morning or a bowl of cereal. And then what do you want for lunch? Turns into noodles. Like it can go, or fruit. And you say, well, they're eating fruit. That's great. And yes, that's great, but no protein there. It can easily, if your child or you don't have it available for whatever reason, and your child's not big on the chickens, the turkeys, it can spiral on you quickly. In terms of just getting through your day, what do you want to eat something, not having much protein. So if this child, you know, had toast in the morning and then goes to Thanksgiving dinner and just wants vegetables, you know, there could be an issue there, you know, day to day. That's just, again, where things get so individualized and where with children it gets more complicated. And
exactly. And even at that, you know, if we just go back to the RDA perspective, which is the bare minimum, you know, let's just say you are just eating toast, you're just eating oats, cereal. I mean, there's still, it's not known for being a source rich in protein, or not even the most optimal balance of amino acids. Let's say if you have a big bowl of cereal, between the milk or the almond milk, the cereal itself, I mean, that's 7 to 10 grams of protein. And then if you have oats, 5 to 10 potentially grams of protein. Even rice, if you have a hearty serving of rice, let's say, like you're still picking up we'll call them trace amounts of protein. So it's pretty
interesting. So
it's pretty dang hard to not get enough protein. But if you're looking at just something a little beyond that, you know, what's what's going to set my child up, maybe who's now a little more active. I want to put more, more a variety of health promoting foods in front of them. That's where, healthy peanut butters and almond butters and different nuts and seeds and those sorts of things can really round it out. It's like, do you really need to add the ice cream with the extra protein for a kid? It's probably unnecessary.
Not for a kid. It's too expensive for them.
Yeah.
Much too good for children.
Yeah. But it's the reality is that like every decision, or at least me personally, it seems like there's a spectrum of like good to bad, and nothing is absolutely bad and nothing is the most perfect choice. And so it's just always like, hey, if I walk into the gas station and I'm really pressed for time and I need a good snack, I'm going to pick the stupid protein Pop-Tart every time. Like, 100%. I'm just conditioned.
Dude, they're the best.
I'm just conditioned. I'm conditioned at this point. If it says 20, I'm over protein bars, of course.
Yeah.
But if they change the shape and they make it look like a regular Pop-Tart, then I'm your guy every time.
Yep.
So it's, again, the spectrum of options and choices, the better choice would be grab the banana, grab the apple, maybe a small protein drink, or a milk. I don't know. You can make a case for that. But instead it's like, is it that much worse to just do the protein Rice Krispie treat? Is it the end of the world this time? I don't know.
Well,
you got to have options.
But compared to the straight Rice Krispie treat, look where you are. Right. That's why I have a hard time.
Right. It's like your spectrum of choices. You got two. You got one right next to you. One has a little more protein. One is a little bit more protein deficient.
Yes, that's why I did jump on that comment about the big food overhyping protein. There is a thread of truth, but it is not fat-free Sour Patch Kids. It is not same type of marketing and not the same type of overall health benefit. It's just not.
Georgina, I don't know how much help we were in your argument with your sister.
She's just going to play this video. She's just going to show up at Thanksgiving and play this video. We'll be getting an email from the sister here pretty soon.
Yeah, exactly.
That would be great.
Good luck. Sorry about that. Hey, it's only one day. You get to control your kid's diet the rest of the time, so don't worry about it.